Why I share my life experiences. I've received feedback from people telling me to stop talking about myself so much. I've received feedback from others just simply by virtue of the fact that I see the likes on my videos. The videos I produce where I speak are always less viewed than any of my channels. Not everyone is interested in my path, although I feel they should be. But hey, their loss. I'm not being arrogant. I'm telling you what it takes to become empowered here on Earth now, because that's what's staring humanity in the face as a species. We're becoming more empowered. Just look at all those people saying no, now when perhaps that word was spanked out of them by overbearing parents early in life. I wasn't allowed to say no to anyone, so you can imagine the predicament that faced me when I started dating. I didn't get pregnant like my sister did, but I became a huge liar who consequently ended up not being able to stand herself. I disliked myself immensely because of my lies and manipulating, and so I had to stop dating in order to stop lying. Eventually I stopped lying and began to tell the truth. That doesn't make you popular with many people, believe me, but I figured in the end it's me I have to live with more than I have to others. Then I started to see that this entire world is a lie, and it had taught me to lie to myself right down to the core, so much so I had no clue who I really was. Starting to learn was no picnic either, and it still isn't. Finding out you're from another planet and that most people on this world would think you're a whack job for claiming to be doesn't do much for your self-esteem either. Fortunately, all I can say is I lost my need to please others and put pleasing myself front and center in my life. I'm out about being a starseed, and I can live in my own skin a lot more soundly. The books I sell called Stop Being a Victim and How to Stretch Your Dollar Further sell very poorly by comparison to Ivo's or Ashta's books. Some of the people I send out my channelings to have requested the authority to be able to edit some of what I say because they don't like my comments in particular. They don't edit Ivo's comments, only mine. I see that I'm not in a popularity contest. Good. I despise that sort of thing anyway. I can't compete with Ashta Sharon, nor would I want to, because we're a team. But I have my own demographic that my messages apparently resonate with. These women, especially, are living lives similar to mine. My heart goes out to you. I know it's tough. Being a high-energy being, a light being perhaps, living in a low-dimensional body isn't all it's cracked up to be. But you decided to take the chance and come here to help Earth, just like I did. Maybe like me, you swapped your Porsche for a 1960s Lemon. You did it to help out. You did it for God and for the love of humanity. I received a comment this morning that reads as follows: Sharon, this is not true. You were just receiving that impression and maybe a feedback from the few of them that they not resonating with your life experience. But I do, Sharon. Your experience sounds so much like mine. And I'm all ears to what you have to say. It is as if many times you were speaking of me and I could see myself in you. We seem like synchronized when you share the same experiences as I have on a daily basis, and I learn a lot from you as many others like me do. You only see what is shown to you. I appreciate hearing comments like this. But I still do what I feel guided to do, always. I still keep doing what I feel I must. I'm inner directed and guided, which is what I've become, instead of outer directed and controlled, which is what I was while growing up on Earth. When you dance to your own tune long enough, a tune of helping other people, you hear the feedback, but you don't let it stop you. You do what you feel is right, and that feeling comes from soul. That's part of getting your power back, and it's immensely more gratifying than the confusion of listening to others' opinions of you. As you can see, I get shit flung at me all the time. I've used it to make myself stronger, which is what Ivo has taught us. My messages hold more conviction now than they ever did. As you can see, I do get bad feedback for the work that I'm doing, but did it shut me up? No, I just keep on doing what I'm guided to do and saying what I'm guided to say, because I felt maybe there was one person out there listening to my story, and if I only reached one person, then that was good enough for me. I would keep talking. With Ivo's help, I have figured out what my life is about. My life is about the rise of the divine feminine energies on Earth, which have been severely repressed, and with it all women. Look at the clergy. How many women were pastors 50 years ago? Not too many. Since people like me showed up, this has changed. There are more women preachers than ever now. People are listening to women instead of just pinching their butts and telling them to go fix them dinner. Yes, people, that's what a woman's lot was back in the 60s, getting your ass pinched by whoever thought to do it. I'm not kidding. You guys are too young to remember it, but try finding old videos of TV shows. I remember there was one of a woman who wanted to become a cop. She made it onto the force only to be harassed by all her male colleagues. I've experienced this as well when I was in my 20s. Thankfully, a move to a city of higher consciousness alleviated this for me and allowed me to recover to some extent. I know women struggle in relationships. They want equality, and that's why women are furious about RVW. But there's a backstory to this precedent that many people don't know, and if they did they would be sickened. I won't explain it here. Women want to stop being marginalized, compromised, made to take the lesser slice of life. They're tired of the glass ceiling and having to do loads of work with no reward for it. Right now you have a lot of women juggling so many jobs. How could they possibly prevail in life? And of course, that's by design. I see men starting to take over more of childcare and sharing the workload, which is good for women, but does that allow the goddess and gods within the person to emerge? No, it doesn't. The system has to go because it's meant to repress all of us, not just women. As far as the jobs go, you need to look at why you're doing your job. If it's for recognition and you're not getting any, then go find another job. You have to understand what your values are and what it is you're looking for out of life. If it's ego gratification, I'd be careful about that, because with these rising energies your ego will find less to gratify itself with, I believe. For me, working a job was about gaining experience. I needed to do this work, although at the time I didn't know that, and it was about getting money to live. That was it. Nothing more than that. What a thankless way to live. My God. I remember one scene from Independence Day, where the hero's girlfriend meets the First Lady. The First Lady asks her what she does for a living, and she says, "I'm an exotic dancer." When she sees the look on the floater's face, she says, "It's okay, my baby's worth it." What I would have said is, I'd rather be calling my own shots doing the work I want to than having to make it all the way to the top just to take second place, but that's me. Yup, that's what women always were, on the arm of their more powerful mate. Some women married just to have these prestigious positions. Not me. I wasn't having any of that shit, but then it was never offered to me either. Why? Because I was the powerful one, and that's underlined for emphasis, folks. Ladies, you need to know this. The reason you're attracting broken men is because you're the powerful healer they seek. Of course, no healing will take place with many of them, unless you stand firm and don't put up with their using and manipulation of you. But then welcome to another battlefield relationship. Who needs that? I don't. Do I seem like the type of person who likes to air her dirty laundry on YouTube? I'm a Scorpio, and in fact I'm a very private person. The reason I tell you about my life and invite Ivo to comment upon it is so that you can see, first of all, the relationship between twin flames at work, secondly the relationship between a spirit guide and a starseed at work, and thirdly so you can see what benevolent ETS are like, and by the way they're wonderful on video and off. The other reason I do this is so you begin to understand the solution. You learn as I learn. That's how we've been doing it. I can see that people now are starting to take their power back. The world is in a conundrum of riots and lockdowns. What I've learned from Ivo as I've continued my personal growth with him is you don't have to riot against this world. You can imagine a new one. Humans aren't a violent species, and because we create our reality, yes, it's created by our own minds, all we have to do is change our minds and we change our reality. There is a peaceful way to do anything, but that's not generally known on this planet. My channels speak of the new multidimensional human emerging on Earth. That's great, they speak of it, but I'm becoming that person. For that reason my messages have value for you, as you too are becoming multidimensional and are trying to understand your new experiences. It can be confusing to wake up to see baseball-sized black blobs or just black blobs in general floating around your bed. Everything you're seeing is something you can enact change upon. I believe the reason I see it is because I don't fear it. For that reason I don't see reptilians, although I know they're there. They also keep themselves shielded from our eyes. I envy people who can see them because I really want to. I can sense them, but I want to see them around people. For those of you who are indigos and even those who aren't, there's the violet flame, and it can be wielded to cleanse out all negativity, within yourself, outside yourself, and even those free-floating black blobs respond to it. I'll say it again, why did I write, "Stop being a victim"? In another video to be aired, who knows, soon, or maybe it already has, LOL, I don't keep track of these things. I wrote the book to describe the process of re-empowering myself, at least to a level where I wasn't inundated by life and could float on the surface for a change. I'd had many challenges thrown at me, including money, love, being a seeker, the who am I challenge, people who all seemed to oppose everything I did, friends who don't get me, friends who want me to be like them, not myself, vampiring lovers, inability to do this, inability to do that, You name it. Why? I believe I wasn't doing it on the level that I needed to. There was still too much disparity between my earthly thinking and my multidimensional reality. As soon as the two showed signs of merging, I started to become more successful at life. Instead of just trying to get through it, I even enjoy some things to a certain extent. I've written the book for your sakes. I've already been through the process, so it's behind me and I'm using it daily. I wrote it for you, those of you who aren't thriving in life. The book is written in an uncomplicated fashion. There's not a bunch of psycholingo in there, just one person talking to another person who needs help. It's getting yourself to admit it. That's the hardest part for so many people. But help is out there. You just have to want it. So now my journey continues. As I write this and do the other channelings, like I said, I found life on Earth to be a lie, and I realized that I had lied to myself wholly and without exception about who I thought I was. Ivo started to tell me the truth of who I was, and some of it I couldn't believe right away. My Christ self, Athena, came through by whispering her name, and eventually I started to pay attention. Athena? Wasn't she some statue at the museum in Athens? No. She's a real being and I'm part of her energy system, let's call it that. No wonder I'm a fighter, but then they sent the ones they needed to change this planet. Well, that process continues. And with it I've let go of so much, even family relations here, as I embrace Ivo, our children, and my family relations in Vega. It's strange they can't stand in front of me right now, but at least I can talk to them. It's exciting to know I actually have a nice mother and I look forward to meeting her. I'm also finding out that I just know things now. As I access more of my unconscious mind, I retrieve more memories of Vega and my life with Ivo and our children, and I believe what I'm to do right now is what seems really unbelievable to me. But I believe I'm to retrieve as many of these memories as I can and eschew all my memories of being an Earthling. It's like I'm replacing myself. I know I like music. On Earth I've loved rock and roll, but now Ivo has me at the point where I realize, that's not me. I know I like going to the beach, and we do that on Elteron and on Ivo's ship. I know I have a weight problem, but Ivo tells me, that's not me. I am in the process of divorcing myself from everything I've learned that creates me, because it doesn't. If you don't think that's difficult, guess again. It is difficult. I'm going back to my vegan mentality. That way I can embody more of Tianya's consciousness, my consciousness, and this will facilitate my moving back onto the ships, because as I said it, she's the space person, I'm not. I feel very much anchored to Earth, and it's this I have to let go of in order to be prepared to go on board the ships. Having a strong mind can work against you as well, you know. It's almost like I have to change the content of my thought patterns every day. Instead of thinking how Sharon thinks about food, embrace the way Tianya thinks about food. What would Tianya eat? Right now she's not eating because she's in stasis, so I get to do the job for her. LOL, but I guess the problem is the more I hold on to my own idea of life, the more I fight the movement of this higher consciousness into my lower mind. So I have to keep letting go and keep letting go. What would Tianya do? What would Tianya listen to? I found harp music as soon as I asked that question, by the way, and it's beautiful. Yes, I remember that harps fascinated me when I was a kid. What would Tianya want? I've seen some of the things she wears, and not only can't you find them on Earth, I'm not sure I would wear them. Balloon pants with slits up the side of the lower leg? Peach-colored? Everything I ever clung onto in life here on Earth I have to release. Rock and roll and all the debauchery that goes along with it. That's not me. I didn't live the lifestyle, really, just liked the music, but what kind of music did Tianya play or listen to? See, the other thing I figure will happen is by releasing this lower consciousness and replacing it with hers, I will get her gifts. I think her brain has more capacity than mine does, or maybe I'm wrong. Mine has just been idling all these years, but as my DNA comes back online, then I can retrieve more of her. I'm just pragmatic enough to find this a very interesting experiment, to be honest. Becoming your true self. Ivo is banking on my being able to do it because he wants me back. He tells me about the consistencies between being in that body and being in my body, and there are consistencies. I do like music, but they don't listen to Black Sabbath on Elteron. She's never heard it and probably wouldn't like it. I like all kinds of music, really including classical music, but we'll see where I go with this. I don't know if you all will have to make this jump, but I'm just telling you in case you think you may have to. I'll call it switching consciousnesses to another body, and I've been doing it all my life, really, as I continue to wake up. I retrieve more of who Tianya was and replace who Sharon thinks she is. By the way, for some reason I feel compelled to say this. Ivo doesn't like me calling me Sharon, although I like the name. My real name adds up to 144, and that's by design. Yes, I think this is a three-pronged process. There is overlap, but the first part is your childhood, where you are inundated with being taught about Earth and how to live here after your Akashic memories are wiped out. Then the second part is consciously rejecting it and overcoming what you learned, and the third part is retrieving who you were as an extraterrestrial. This is the path of retrieving your extraterrestrial consciousness, and I'm on it. Have been all my life. And yes, as you anchor more of your ET self, you anchor more light for the planet as well.